The rules of this video are simple. The boys have to simply agree or disagree when asked a series of statements about the Bulldogs and the Dragons.
Bulldogs will win a premiership before the Dragons.
Mate, the St. George Illawarra Dragons is your local retirement home. They've got players that are about to hit 40, saying they're going to win a premiership. Unrealistic. No hope.
The question was, are we going to win a premiership before the Dogs? Not, are we going to win a premiership before? I think the trajectory of the Dogs looks better on paper right now. However, we've got a premiership winning coach, and I think that takes you a long way. I don't see Serrato taking you to the land of milk and honey, if you want to call it that. That's why I kind of disagree. I think, for me, it's going to come down to coaching prowess.
So the reason why I've jumped ship, and it hurts me to be on this side, but I am a realist. I just feel the Dogs roster is a couple of years ahead of us. They've got a strong team. I know Serrato is still an untested coach in regards to premierships, opposed to what our good friend said here about Flanagan, and he's 100% right. He's a premiership winning coach, and he's got every chance to turn us into a premiership winning team.
Dragons have a greater, more loyal fan base than the Bulldogs.
Ada Bell fans be Ada.
True. Come on, brother. Oh, come on.
Right, let's go. What was the question again?
Dragons have a greater, more loyal fan base than the Bulldogs.
That's not even a question. I'm just evening it out. I'm actually on that side.
I'm not one-eyed. I'd say it's straight.
Brother, there's a genuine conversation that this game at Cogra, round one, is a Dogs home game. There was a lot of Dogs fans at Cogra last year, and obviously we just had a mad season. The hype's going to be there. There's a good chance that there's going to be...
Because you stole our discount code.
Hey, listen, we're not talking about socio-economic backgrounds here, all right? As we're talking about, there's going to be a damn lot of blue and white at that stadium, man. It's not really going to look like an out-and-out home game at Cogra, man.
But you're 100% right. The reason why it is going to be a Bulldogs home game, because every time the Bulldogs are doing well, the Bulldogs supporters come out of the woodworks. Now, 3 years ago, when you weren't going so well, ANZ Stadium sounded like crickets, right, echoing. Where were you guys? You've only come out in the good times. And if you ask any ex-NRL Bulldogs player, when they're having a shit game or they're going through a rough patch, you don't want to get on the wrong side of a Bulldog supporter.
Serrato is a better coach than Shane Flanagan.
Not even a question.
Come on, man. What's this joke? That's embarrassing. Come on, man.
Look, I think I'll give raps to Serraldo. I think he's a great coach, and he's been under a great system under Ivan Cleary, but he just needs a bit more time. But I mean, I've said before, Flanagan's won the comp with the Sharks. Hopefully he can get one with the Dragons as well. That'd be great. But yeah, Serraldo just needs a bit more time, but at the moment, Flanagan, and it's not even close.
Technically, right, if we're speaking on right now, what has Shane Flanagan actually won for the Dragons, or actually done for them?
Charity Shield.
Okay, let me.
Charity Shield against what? Rabbitohs under-20s team?
I'll rebuttal that. Everything that Serrato is doing at the Dogs, Shane Flanagan's already done. He rebuilt that Sharks team, whether you like it or not. All right, there was a bit of, going on with that winning team, but he did that. He went and rebuilt the team, and to say, what's he done for the Dragons? Everyone had the Dragons at the spoon at the start of last year, and it's the same position you boys were in 2 years ago, when everyone was like, "You're a rubbish, you're done, you aren't going to win anything." So I think what let us down last year was more on-field players rather than Flanagan's coaching.
We haven't had a large sample size with Serrato. We've had one really good year and one really, really bad year. Honestly, we were rumoured to get either Serrato or Shane Flanagan at the time, and I was all for getting Shane Flanagan. I just think he's done this before. He's got that experience, and I really wanted to see what he'd do with the Dogs. I'm very, very happy with how Serrato's done, and I think he's a great coach, but it's too early to put someone over Serrato, someone like Serrato over Shane Flanagan with what he's achieved. Like, this guy beat one of the best sides ever built in Melbourne Storm in a grand final. Like, that's experience that Serrato doesn't have yet.
Jamie Soward dived in the 09 clash between the Bulldogs and Dragons.
Listen, yeah? Right, when you go onto Google, yeah, and you write Jamie Soward, you know the second recommended search is Jamie Soward dive. So, it's obvious.
I would have said disagree until he actually decided to admit that he did dive. So that does hurt. I wish he just stuck to his guns and said no. He was interfered, but it is what it is.
You gotta do what you gotta do. That's it. That's it. You gotta do what you gotta do. That's all I'm gonna say.
Whether he dived or didn't dive, that's not the question. The question is, how did he get away with it? The NRL is at fault for how they've built this game today. They've turned it into a game where it's touch. Don't complain when the players turn it into touch.
But he still dived, so did he dive or not? That's the question. That's the question.
Open to interpretation.
Going off the rule, on that night, he didn't dive because there was a no try. He got taken out.
Open to interpretation.
I just want to say, fuck you, Jamie Soward. You made 10-year-old me cry. 10-year-old me cried harder than any other day before. I don't know why. I was G'd up when I saw Jamal just go over for a try, and then Jamie Soward ruined it all. Fuck you, man.
Dragons have the hottest fans in the NRL.
We're ugly as fuck.
You can go to that side, guys. You can go to that side,
I mean.
We've got Anthony Bashara and we've got Hectic Fred. We've got Yakub. That answers my question.
I disagree because I love Lebo food and I'm gonna leave it at that.
It's very simple.
Have you guys been to Wollongong at all? You haven't seen the fans down there? Please, compared to Belmore Station, the toothless tigers out there? Come on, man.
Jamie Soward was a greater player than Terry Lamb.
That's hilarious.
Someone hand him the mic.
Hey, Chris, you were old enough to ask Terry, man.
No, I just know he's better.
Do you guys not remember Jamie Soward's kicking game? He had that ball on a string. Won a premiership. I understand Terry Lamb's won a premiership and he's a Bulldogs legend. And I get that. And I actually grew up idolising Terry Lamb. But Jamie Soward, man, he single-handedly won the Dragons the comp that year. Single-handedly. And Jamie Soward's never taken a field goal when they were 2 points down.
I'm closer to midpoint, but disagree. It's hard to really compare players when they're different eras. Terry Lamb, I wasn't born when he was playing, but I definitely did grow up watching Jamie Soward, and he was a fantastic player. So I'm on the fence on that one. So yeah, it's hard to really compare two different eras.
Talking about a bloke we're not talking about Terry Lamb as one of the best Dogs players of all time. We talk about Terry Lamb as one of the best players to ever play the game. I think he's solidified in the top 25 players of all time at least. And he, in my opinion, he's our greatest player. And look, I know you said Soward won the Dragons a title single-handedly, but that team had Brent Morris, Ben Cray, some insane players. Terry Lamb's resume alone should have everybody standing in this line. And plus, Jamie Soward flopped in that 2010 game. I'll never forgive him for that one.
Let it go.
Dragons will win the game this week.
Look, honestly, from what I've seen in recent history, I mean, the Bulldogs have had a pretty bad start to the season, but they tend to build up as the year goes on. Whereas the Dragons, we've known as the May Premiers, start off really well and then just fall off the track. So
We may have had a bad start, with the trial game against the Broncos, the pretty boys. But we beat the mighty Tigers, mate, and that shows a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Wood, we've got the wood over the Dragons. Even when we didn't know how to hold a ball, we'd still pump the Dragons. And now, we're the best team in the comp. We're going to put 60 on the Dragons at Cogra. It's our home.
Look, I wish I can say. I know, shit. I know. I'm in the agree column. I'm sitting in the agree. I wish I could say the Doggies will pump the Dragons round one, but after what happened, I didn't set out. After what happened in round one last year, I don't know, man. Doggies tend to, we're that slow warm-up team. We don't seem to beat any team from round 1 to 10, okay? So I've got a gut feeling you guys might take it this week. So it hurts me, but fuck, it is
Just
what
like
it is.
John Cena, we stole his soul.
Yeah, man.
Hey, listen, man. See, this is we never win in round one. I get it. See, this is the NRL's way of helping us by giving a team we always beat, no matter how good or bad we are. Round one, bro. And yeah, we're missing Curran, and yeah, we're missing Karaz, but I don't care, bro. Because at the end of the day, we have Matt Burton, we have Critter. I trust in them a lot more than I trust in like Jiddu, old Gutherson, and like washed, like that house pairing. It can't be washed when it was never something to begin with.
I get it. I just, that round one game last year really scarred me. I'm like, shit, like we're actually like a slow starter team. We can't win nothing for the life of us. Legit, even the 23 season. So we actually can't win at the beginning of the year. I don't know what it is with the Dogs. Like we kick it into second gear like after round 10. I don't know. It's just the way we are.
I think your team's far further in the evolution as their team, as in you're not bringing in or running in so many players. We've got a completely new spine. And I know pre-season's one thing, but we don't know how this spine's going to play. We don't know how they're going to react under the pressure. So for me, I think, it's just the spine that I look at and I go, I don't know how they're going to react. So I can't confidently sit here and say we're going to win the game.
16-16, it's going to go to golden point. Gutherson's going to fake it from dummy half, kick it to Flanagan, 40 metres out, it's going to hit the crossbar, I'm going to run on the field naked. But just for that, just for that.
Dragons have had a stronger impact in the rugby league than the Bulldogs.
Look, if we're talking about from the beginning, St George Dragons, St George Illawarra Dragons, doesn't matter. 15 premierships, 11 of them in a row. And you look at it, St George Illawarra, 2 grand final appearances and 1 premiership. So I think definitely regardless St George or St George Illawarra, if you add it all up, it's 16 premierships against 8 against the Dogs. So St George have made the bigger impact compared to Canterbury. I agree.
I think impact in the modern generation is worth a lot more because of how. I know, but I started thinking. Hey, listen. I'm a man that used to think, titles mean everything. But in the modern, and they won 11 straight. They won 11 straight. Because if you went and asked everybody at a rugby league game how many titles they have, they're going to say 1. Because most fans won't remember because they weren't alive when it was black and white television. And all of their titles, except for one of them, is like in black and white TV, bro. And impact is like recency and recent success and just overall in general, right? Things that have happened in the last 25 years are worth more than the 75 before them.
Okay.
Won anything in the last 25 years?
2004 versus 2000.
Yeah, but no, listen. We have some of the most iconic players to ever play the game. We have the Dogs of War team that is honestly one of the most, it is the most iconic forward pack that's probably ever played ever. If you go to YouTube, cuz, there'll be nothing on Norm Proven and the Dragons, but there'll be 70 million views worth of SBW highlights, bro.
Back in the day, you faced garbage, man. Let's be honest. You can't compare that era to what the Dogs have done recently. I'm just saying we've had a great impact. You touched on it, Dogs of War. There's a reason why we actually contributed more to the NRL with the Dogs of War than you ever did with anything. Let's be honest, Premiership aside or whatever, you faced garbage, man, okay?
I'm gonna nick it, bro.
Cuz, hold on. You're saying Dogs of War because wars are meant to be won. You haven't won a fucking premiership in 70 years, 80.
Cuz at the end of the day, your greatest contribution to the impact on rugby league is Dean Young getting his head absolutely blown up by Greg Inglis, and the most impact.
We know how to party. Everyone tunes in to watch the Bulldogs. We make the NRL what it is, and the NRL isn't near as entertaining without the Bulldogs.
Dogs of War.
Let's go.
Back, babe. Let's go.